Gibbs here. Thank you for joining me. So I know with the last couple of videos I uploaded, I think I was just using a very outdated video editor. I'm not really sure. It may have been my camera app that I was using. I've gotten a different app. I've got a different video editor. So I'm hoping my future videos will be a lot better. I've already done a test run on just like a quick 2-minute video, and then I took it down, and everything looked a lot better. So I'm hoping moving on, things will improve. Thank you for hanging in there with me. But yeah, I got a little bit of insomnia tonight, so I figured why not hop on and make a video. One thing I've been seeing a lot tonight, I've been having a family night for the most part. Everyone's asleep now, obviously. But I haven't been able to look at the news too much since earlier. I guess Rudy Giuliani had a pretty interesting news conference. Making it seem like he flipped out. They kind of. In some of the pictures, it seems exaggerated, but he's got his hair dye running down his cheeks, and kind of just looks silly. So I'm gonna crack open a brewski, and we are gonna sit here, and we are going to watch this news conference by Rudy Giuliani. I mean, overall, he's a fucking idiot, so I'm sure it'll be stupid, but I doubt that it's really as crazy as all that, but we shall see. Saw a pretty good clip here from the Hill. Let me find that. There we go. It's like a 14-minute highlight. I think that's the perfect amount. Let's see.
We're going to be allowed to vote. You knew if you lived in Philadelphia.
Yes, so it was illegal immigrants voting.
Unless you're stupid.
I voted a few times in my life, and I've never seen any illegal immigrants. It's very fucking odd. It's usually a bunch of grinny, happy white people. So.
And it's allowed to happen because it is a Democrat, corrupt city, and has been for years.
I live in Tucson, by the way, a supposedly corrupt Democratic city.
They could get away with it.
We don't have illegal immigrants voting here.
They didn't carry it
For
out
the record.
in public places. They didn't carry it out where the law is respected. They carried it out in a corrupt city where the district attorney releases criminals en masse, which is why it has so much crime. She also said, I observed a large number of people who came to the satellite location to vote in person, but they had already applied for and submitted an absentee ballot. So she observed a lot of people voting twice. Again, this is Jesse Jacob, not me. I was instructed not to invalidate any ballots and not to look for any deficiency in the ballots. Why would you do that? Because you're cheating. On purpose cheating. Intentionally cheating. You're cheating as a institution. This is an instruction from the Election Commission, or the employment to the worker. Don't look for any deficiencies in the ballots. I was instructed not to look at any of the signatures with the absentee ballots. She was instructed not to look for any of the signatures in the absentee ballots. Why the heck do you sign it in the first place? In order to identify. She was instructed not to do that because many of the absentee ballots were fraudulent, and they knew that. And they didn't want to have a count of that. On November 4, 2020, I was instructed to improperly predate the absentee ballots when the receipt date was actually was after November 3rd, 2020. Now this is really significant because Justice Alito, Supreme Court, instructed Pennsylvania that any ballot comes in after 8 o'clock on November 3rd, 2020, and not open, because there's a question of legality and its constitutionality. What she's telling you is that they blatantly disregarded that order. That they took ballots that were marked the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and they marked it down for the 3rd. In blatant disregard of the order of the United States Supreme Court.
I just want to note a couple things here. I've seen quite a few different news stories where postal workers are getting paid by conservative groups to lie about this. And everybody else is corroborating that there has been no backdating of any ballots. So what Rudy is saying here is, I'm sure for the most part, complete horseshit. He might have like one or two legitimate cases nationwide, and the rest of it he's just pulling out of his ass. Just a note.
This is, I don't know if she's a Democrat or Republican. I assume if she's working for the, I assume if she's working for the city of Detroit, that she's a Democrat. I assume, but I may be wrong. She's a citizen. Never met her, never coached her. And I'd like you to note that it's signed under penalties of perjury. We have 100 more of these.
So So you have a bunch of people perjuring themselves for money.
Because those people
Good
don't
job.
want to be harassed. They don't want to be
Seems like you're making a paper trail of more crimes. So, good job. You're a fucking idiot.
They've done that to a lot of our people. They've done it for 4 years. And it's outrageous that it's tolerated. And it's tolerated because you condone it in the press. You don't cover it. You don't condemn it. And it shouldn't happen to a Republican or a
Here we
Democrat.
go, blaming the
lawyer
press.
shouldn't have to withdraw from the case because he's representing the President of the United States. There were many more affidavits here. I'd like to read them all to you, but I don't have the time. You should have had the time and energy to go look for them. That's your job. Like it's my job to defend the president and to represent the president. It's your job to read these things and not falsely report that there's no evidence. You know how many affidavits we have in the Michigan case? 220 affidavits. They're not all public, but 8 of them are. 4 affiants here. Those are people who give affidavits, report an incident that under any of the circumstances would have been on the front page of all your newspapers if it didn't involve the hatred that you have, irrational, pathological hatred for the president. Well, swear to 4:30 in the morning, a truck pulled up to the Detroit Center counting ballots. The people thought it was food, so they all ran to the truck. It was thousands and thousands of ballots. The ballots were in garbage cans, they were in paper bags, they were in cardboard boxes, and they were taken into the center. They were put on a number of tables. At that time, they thought all the Republican inspectors had left. All but 2.
Just for context, because I don't want to go this piece of shit going unfact checked. Let's see how many votes Trump would need to win Michigan. So, I'm looking at approximately 100,000 votes. A little bit more. Biden is win by a little over 100,000 votes in Michigan. How many cases of voter fraud does Trump allege in Michigan? It's interesting that I can't even find a number so far. Yeah. So it doesn't look like they're even alleging a certain number, just a vague thousands. We have 8 that are public and a vague thousands amount. So far, that's what Rudy Giuliani is saying. I can rewind it, or if somebody in the comments wants to debate with me, I'll find the exact clip that I just played, where he said there is 8 public cases of voter fraud in Michigan. So let me go ahead and continue.
To have employee of Dominion, we'll address a little bit later, Dominion. And here's what they jointly swear to. That every ballot that they could see, everything they could hear, these were ballots for Biden. When they saw a ballot, these were ballots only for Biden, meaning there was no down ticket, just Biden. Many of them didn't have anything on the outer envelope because these ballots were produced very quickly, very swiftly, and they're estimated to be minimum of 60,000, maximum of 100,000. Many of them were triple counted, which means they were put into the counting machine this way. Once, twice, 3 times. I didn't see that. I don't know that, but for the fact that 3 American citizens were willing to swear to it. And we're not going to let them go to court and do that? We're going to let this election go by when there are, in this case, 60 witnesses that can prove what I'm saying to you and other acts of fraud in Michigan? I mean, what's happened to this country if we're going to let that happen? What happened to this country if we're going to cover that up? We let Al Gore carry on an election dispute longer than this one has been going on for one state and for Chads. This happened in Pennsylvania. It happened in Michigan. Michigan probably, right now, if I count up the affidavits, just one case alone, Trump v. Benson, case that we dismissed today because that case was attempting to get the Wayne County Board of Supervisors to decertify. Well, they did. They decertified. That case has 100 affidavits. And the 100 affidavits show essentially what
I'm sorry. 100 affidavits in that Wayne County area.
Talked to you about.
Out of 146,000 votes that Biden has won by.
3 or 4 times.
Even if we grant him, which I don't,
3 and 4 times.
those 100 fucking affidavits.
To the point of at least
Do the math, man.
300,000 illegitimate ballots that we can specifically identify. The margin in Michigan was 146,121. And these ballots were all cast basically in Detroit that Biden won 80-20. So you see the change as a result of the election in Michigan. If you take out Wayne County. So it's a very significant case. That is being raised in the case of Costantino versus the city of Detroit. Not by us, but by an individual plaintiff. We are helping and assisting in that case. And you can find all the affidavits that you want filed in that case. You can find out they're not just allegations, they're allegations supported by sworn testimony, which is a lot better than Joe Biden has ever done on anything. He doesn't answer questions, much less give you sworn affidavits. Wisconsin had a very small margin. 20,544 last time I looked.
I'll concede on that. Joe Biden can barely speak, and that's coming from my stuttering ass.
In Wisconsin, without going into great detail, very similar plan. Republicans shut out in the city of Milwaukee and also in Madison. Republicans almost uniformly shut out from the absentee process. Not allowed to inspect. Not allowed to look. We have in Milwaukee, the state of Wisconsin, a much stricter law. Wisconsin doesn't allow mail-in ballots. They didn't buy into the big mail-in ballot situation. Wisconsin, when you look at their constitution, almost seems to not like absentee ballots. They state it's not a right, a privilege. And they have very, very strict procedures. And strict procedure says that you can't be given an absentee ballot. You have to personally apply for it. It's illegal, basically, to solicit a vote. And they have actually many reasons for it. It probably goes back to their progressive days. When I say progressive, I mean late 19th century, early 20th century progressive, when that really meant progressive, not retrogressive. So there are 60,000 ballots in Milwaukee County and 40,000 ballots in Madison.
FYI, I want to take that term back from Rudy Giuliani and relabel it as a term for Republicans, because progressive, regressives, kind of works out well. Although Kyle Kuklinski, he does refer as corporate Democrats as the having brain fart. Piece of crap just said it. Regressive. The regressive left. Yeah.
Milwaukee
Perfect
County
term for them as well.
and 40,000 ballots in Madison. That, as far as we can tell, and this is why we're auditing, because we have very good information, the numbers are going to come out about here that don't have applications. Under the law of the state of Wisconsin, already decided, if there's no application for an absentee ballot, the absentee ballot is thrown away. This all happened in two places in Wisconsin. It didn't happen in northern Wisconsin. It didn't happen in Republican Wisconsin. It didn't happen in neutral Wisconsin, where there are equal number of Republicans and Democrats. It happened in a place where the vote was 75, 80% for the Democrat. You take away any number of those, and that 20,000 lead disappears. In other words, if you count the lawful votes, Trump won Wisconsin by a good margin. Indeed, if you count the lawful votes in Pennsylvania, he won it by about 300,000 votes. Also,
I don't know how you figure that anyway. Pure fantasy land these right-wing motherfuckers live in. If fantasies. You guys don't have the popular vote.
which is really a petition.
You haven't since Reagan.
Procedures. There were no inspectors provided for the count of the illegal ballots. There were numerous backdated ballots. We're just counting them now. Run over into the thousands. And there were many precincts in which there was an overvote. Now let me explain to you what an overvote is, which is something you should have explained to the American people, because it's about the clearest circumstantial evidence of massive fraud that you can have. An overvote is 200% of the people who are registered in a district vote. Think about that. 200% of the registered voters in a district vote.
It's exhausting.
That means
Alright, we only have 2 more
somebody
minutes.
voted twice. That means somebody who's not entitled to vote voted. An illegal person from another city or state. A person who's not registered. But what it means is that those are illegitimate votes. You don't have an overvote of 200% or 300%. You don't have an overvote of 100%. Most precincts don't have 100% turnout. In fact, classically it's considered to be an overvote if you go over 80%. Well, in Michigan and Wisconsin, we have overvotes in numerous precincts of 150%, 200%, and 300%.
I've researched this and looked at the numbers. It's not true. It's not true. I'll go ahead and find the actual numbers, and I will make an actual fucking video about the numbers. I've heard this over and over again, and it's fucking stupid.
One of the reasons why the two Republicans did not certify in Wayne, Michigan, Wayne County, Michigan, is because the overvote was so high, monstrous so high, in about 2/3 of the precincts in the city of Detroit, which means magically 2 and 3 times the number of registered voters turned out to vote. In fact, we have precincts in which
Not true.
2 times the number of people who live there, including children.
Just standing up there, and he's just saying stuff.
The frustration of this is, what I'm describing to you is a massive fraud. It isn't a little teeny. It isn't, you know, look at votes switched here and there. Georgia, we're about to file a major lawsuit in Georgia. That'll be filed probably tomorrow. I don't need to go through it. Virtually the same things I told you. In the city of Atlanta, Republicans were not allowed to watch the absentee mail-in ballot process. Inspections completely cast aside. And we have numerous double voters. We have numerous out-of-state voters. And we have specific evidence of intimidation.
It is really early in my YouTube career, so I didn't video wanting to blow my brains out. That's how terrible that video was. By the way, the whole, like, I saw him sweat and he had to wipe up his dye a little bit. It wasn't that bad. Democrats, it makes you look stupid. You shouldn't even. I don't even see right. You bring that up. I know Giuliani is a ghoul, but Democrats always attacking Republicans for the wrong reasons. That should be your tagline for every election, because that would be the most accurate thing. Thank you so much for watching, and everyone have yourself a great night.